Let's talk about your company website. You know, it can really only be one of two things. It can be an anchor, just weighing your business down with slow speeds and a confusing design. Or it can be a powerful asset that is actively driving your growth. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can make sure your website is that asset, working for you, not against you.
So let's just start with the biggest question every single business owner needs to be asking themselves. Is your digital front door actually welcoming customers in, or is it basically slamming shut in their face because of technical glitches and just bad design? The answer, as you'll see, has a huge impact on your bottom line.
Okay, let's really get into this. The key difference here is between a passive website, one that's just there, and a strategic one. A strategic website is a tool. It's built with a clear purpose to attract people, keep them engaged, and ultimately turn them into customers.
But what happens when it's not a tool? Let's actually put some numbers on it. We're going to look at the real measurable damage that a poorly built website can cause. And honestly, these numbers might surprise you.
It all starts right here, with just 1 single second. That is all it takes for a delay in your website's load time to start costing you real money. I know 1 second feels like nothing, but in the digital world, it is an absolute eternity.
And here's what that 1 second costs you. A 1 second delay can lead to a 7% drop in customer conversions. Now, just think about that for a moment. For every tick of the clock that a potential customer is just sitting there waiting, a good chunk of them are deciding to go somewhere else.
And on a mobile phone, this problem just explodes. A staggering 53% of users will just flat out abandon a website if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. We are talking about over half of your potential mobile customers. Gone. They're gone before they've even seen what you have to offer.
So, you see, these aren't just abstract numbers on a slide. They are what I call silent business killers. Every lost visitor, every high bounce rate, every abandoned shopping cart, that is a missed opportunity, and it's slowly chipping away at your revenue and your brand's reputation.
So, the big question is, how do we fight back against these silent killers? Well, the answer lies in a proven blueprint for success. It's a set of core web development best practices that can turn your website from a problem into a high-performing asset.
First up is performance optimization. Now, this isn't just about making things feel fast. It is a deliberate set of technical standards, things like compressing your images and cleaning up your code. And it's all designed specifically to make your users happier, and most importantly, to drive conversions. And believe me, it works. Check out this real-world example. An online booking platform cut its load time from a pretty sluggish 4 seconds, all the way down to a speedy 1.8. The result? A noticeable jump in appointment bookings, and it happened almost immediately. That's a straight line from a technical fix to business growth.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar, mobile-first responsiveness. Look, with over half of all web traffic now coming from phones, designing for that small screen first isn't an option anymore. It is absolutely essential if you want to reach the majority of your audience.
And here's a perfect example of that in action. A local business simply made its contact form easier to use on a phone. No more awkward pinching and zooming. And the direct result was a huge increase in how many people actually filled it out. Simple changes can have a massive impact. Our third pillar is all about clarity. Having clear navigation and structure just means that a visitor should never have to guess where they need to click next. It's all about creating a super intuitive, logical path that guides them right to what they're looking for, completely frustration-free. For instance, a consulting firm just reorganized its services page into really easy-to-understand categories. People found what they were looking for way faster, and that led directly to more inquiries. See? When you reduce the friction, you increase the action. It's that simple. But these practices aren't just about quick wins. No, there's a much deeper, long-term value here. Let's talk about how a well-built website is structured not just for today's visitor, but for your company's growth tomorrow.
A truly future-proof website is built on these 4 technical pillars. You've got clean code, which makes updates way easier down the line. You've got scalable architecture, which lets you handle more traffic as you grow. Strong security protects you and your customers. And accessibility standards make sure your site works for everyone.
So now, let's put this all together. To really drive home the value, we're going to do a direct head-to-head comparison between a website that follows these best practices and one that, well, doesn't. And what you're about to see is that the difference isn't just technical, it's a massive difference in the actual business results you can expect.
Okay, just look at this table. It says it all. For load time, you've got under 2 seconds versus 4 to 8 seconds. For mobile usability, it's the difference between smooth and just plain difficult. The impact? Higher engagement versus users just giving up and leaving. Even maintenance is easier and more structured on an optimized site, and it can actually handle growth, while a non-optimized site basically crumbles under pressure. The choice here is pretty obvious, right?
So the evidence is pretty clear. But what does this all mean for you? How do you take these ideas and actually put them into practice? Don't worry, here's your path forward.
It really just boils down to a simple 3-step process. First, you've got to audit. Get an honest look at your site's current speed and usability. Second, prioritize. You probably can't fix everything at once, so find the single biggest issue causing problems for your users and tackle that first. And third, plan. Create a realistic roadmap for improvement that actually works for your business.
So, here's the most important takeaway from all of this. Thinking about your website's technical foundation, this isn't an expense. It is a fundamental investment in your business. It's an investment in customer satisfaction, in your brand's reputation, and in sustainable long-term growth. And that leaves us with one final and I think critical question. Take a really hard look at your own digital presence and ask yourself this: what is the single biggest barrier standing between your website and your customers right now? Because finding that answer, that is the first step to turning your website from an anchor into the powerful asset it was always meant to be.